Taking the tube in London is going to be essential when you come to visit, and it's actually super easy. So let me walk you through it step by step so you're a pro by the time you land here in the UK. So we'll start off by looking at the tube map, which I know right away looks pretty confusing because there are so many lines and colors, especially for Americans, because there's only a few cities in the US that have metros. Most of us drive, so it can seem overwhelming at the beginning, but let's go over all the lines. So on the right side, you can see the key to the map. All of the solid lines are tubes, which is what they call the metro or the subway here, something that's underground. It's also referred to as the underground. The double lines are the overground, which is like a train. So obviously it depends on where your hotel is when you come to visit, but I'd bet that you most likely only be taking undergrounds while you're here and not really using the overground. You can see each of the underground lines here. Bakerloo is brown, Central is red, Circle is yellow, green is District, pink is Hammersmith and City, gray is Jubilee, purple is Metropolitan, black is Northern, navy is Piccadilly, blue is Victoria, and turquoise is Waterloo and City. So wow, yeah, that's a mouthful. You can see there are literally tube lines everywhere, and you can see the ones that have air conditioning if they have the snowflake symbol next to it. Now let's look at the entire map, and you can see these rings in the background with faded numbers on them, numbers 1 through 9. These are the 9 fare zones of central London. So how many zones you cross in one ride determines how much you pay for the ride, and how many zones you travel through the entire day determines how much you pay for that day because of the daily cap. So for example, if you only travel around zones 1 and 2 that day, which as a tourist I don't think you'd really venture out into zones 3 through 9, the most you'd be charged for the day is £8.50. So you don't need to buy an Oyster card. All you do is tap your payment method like Apple Pay or contactless card, and this will automatically be calculated and charged to your card. So you don't have to worry about it, which I love because it makes traveling around London so easy. So now I'm gonna show you in action how to get from one stop to the other. So on the map here, we want to go from Knightsbridge on the Piccadilly line where the famous department store Harrods is, all the way to Canary Wharf on the Jubilee line. We'll use the Citymapper app, which I highly recommend downloading before your trip to London, as it really is the most accurate public transportation map app out there. You can also use Google Maps. It works fine overall, but it's just not as accurate, and it doesn't tell you how much a journey will cost, which is why I prefer Citymapper as well. So let's open up Citymapper and type in your starting point and ending point, then hit the green arrow to go. It'll show you all the different options you have and how much it'll cost. So of course we're gonna go with the 24-minute option to save us time, especially since it's the same price as all the other routes. Now it'll give you step-by-step directions and even tell you when the next tubes are leaving. For this journey, we're gonna have to switch tube lines, so it shows you to get off in 2 stops at Green Park and change platforms for the Jubilee line, when the next Jubilee line tubes leave, and eventually which stop to get off on to complete the journey. So it's extremely helpful and easy to follow. Now let me show you this journey. So, like I mentioned before, there is no need to buy an Oyster card. It doesn't save you any money, so it's a lot easier to just use contactless pay on your phone or contactless pay card. Be sure to use the same payment method to tap in and tap out, and each person needs to have their own card to travel if they're over 11, because 11 and unders do travel for free. Follow signs for the line you want that Citymapper told you to go on. So in our case, we're starting with the Piccadilly line. On the escalators, you stand on the right and you walk on the left. Then you'll check which direction you're going in. What always helps me is looking for the stop I'm getting off on to double check I'm going in the right direction. We're switching at Green Park, so we're going eastbound. Then get to the platform and wait behind the yellow line. Trains come every few minutes. You can check the board on the platform to see when the next one is coming. Make sure to double check it's the right train. Even if it's going the right direction, there are a few lines that split off and you want to make sure you're on the right one. Then once the train pulls up, you wait for people to get off the train first, and then you get on and either find a seat if it's available or stand. But if you are standing, make sure to hold on to something. If you're sitting in a priority seat, make sure to stay aware as people get on the train if you need to stand up and offer them your seat. When you're on the tube, you can look at the map to track your journey and double check you're going in the right direction. Now let me show you how to switch tube lines. We're getting off the Piccadilly line here at Green Park, and we're going to follow signs for the Jubilee line. There will be tons of signs, so you can continue to double check you're going in the right direction of the platform. Now we're at the platform, so let's make sure that we're going the right way. Look for the Canary Wharf stop that we'll be getting off on. We see that it's southbound, so we'll follow the arrow for that platform. Like I said on the Piccadilly line, you can double check you're going the right way by looking at the map inside the tube, the signs that show up for the next stop, and listen to the announcements. The tube will always stop at every station on the map unless there's an announcement that says otherwise. So here we are at our final destination, Canary Wharf. You'll get off the tube and follow signs that say "Way Out." Again, on the escalator, stand on the right and walk on the left. And you'll tap out with the same payment method you used to tap in. This is really important as the system automatically calculates your journey and charges you the correct amount based on the card number used. The tube opens around 5 a.m. depending on the station, and the last train departs around midnight. On Friday and Saturday nights, some tube lines do run overnight, and it is called the night tube. So again, if you use Citymapper to help map out your travel journey, like let's say you need to get to a train station really early in the morning the next day, you can choose a departure time rather than leaving right now, and it will tell you how to get there based on what tubes are open at that time. The good thing is, of course, everything is in English, so it's a lot easier to try and figure things out than compared to when I lived in China, for example. So hopefully you feel confident enough to take the tube on your trip to London. Now let me help you plan your trip with this 3-day itinerary.